Poštovani prijatelji, poštovaoci Narodne biblioteke Srbije, ustanove kulture od nacionalnog značaja i najstarije institucije kulture u Srbiji, dobrodošli na književno veče pod naslovom Svet, mudrosti i lepote. Ovo veče posvećeno je Rabindranatu Tagori, velikom umetniku, majstoru mnogih vidova stvaralačkog izražavanja, svestranoj ličnosti, istinskom intelektualcu, jednom od najvećih i najpoznatijih ambasadora indijske kulture. Zadovoljstvo mi je da pozovem profesora doktora Miroslava Raičevića, direktora Instituta za ekonomsku diplomatiju u Beogradu, da nam se obrati. Izvolite.
Da ćemo večeras zajedno i svako ponaosob i na svoj način zaploviti kroz svet jedinstven i čaroban kojega je satvorio Tagora.
Thank you so much, Professor Raičević. Thank you very much for your very warm words for me personally and for my country, and for Tagore, of course, who's no longer merely a citizen of India, but also belongs to the world. In fact, it gives me immense pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, to be welcome to this evening devoted to Tagore, and it gives me immense pleasure to be present here with you all today. And I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Raičević for having organized this evening, and also to the National Library for acting as a very gracious host. What I will just read out a few lines on what India thinks of Tagore, and what Tagore means to India. This is a book on Rabindranath and the Indian art scene. This book, I will just show it to you. This book is very representative of the kind of pictures that you see here. In fact, we are today present here in the backdrop of the exhibition of the digital artwork of Tagore. Many of his original paintings are lost, and some of them are really very precious, and they are not traveling outside of India. So our government has prepared the digital works of Tagore's paintings, and this collection is on world tour, and this collection has been done to celebrate more than 150 years of the birth of Tagore. And in the book, My Pictures, collection of paintings by Rabindranath Tagore, in the foreword, Mr. R. Sivakumar, he expresses what Tagore means to India, and in his words, very few, even among the most creative, have been as multifaceted as Rabindranath Tagore. And fewer have left such an enduring mark on their culture and times. He touched the life of his nation with his poems, and in fact, he won about more than a century ago, he won the first Nobel Prize won by any Asian, the Nobel Prize in Literature, and that Nobel Prize was won for his poem, Gitanjali, and this is what I'm showing to you is the Serbian translation of Gitanjali. And the author goes on to say that he touched the life of this nation with his poems and prose writings. Many of his prose writings have been translated into different languages all over the world, and those are his novels, his short stories, his plays. They have been made into Indian films, and the director who really brought his work on the celluloid was none other than Satyajit Ray, who made several films from his stories. He went on to do plays, songs. Now, very few people know that there is an entire genre of Indian music which was created by Tagore. This is known as Rabindra Sangeet. and this is extremely popular in Bengal and all over India. And even Professor Ustad Amjad Ali Khan, when he plays his sarod all over the world, he makes it a point to play Rabindra Sangeet, the Ekla Chalori of Tagore. So this Rabindra Sangeet is a completely, it is his contribution to Indian music, which is ever abiding. And his ruminations and paintings you can all see around you. You will find that the paintings are in fact very unusual. He did a lot of self-portraits also. And in the self-portraits, he does not portray himself as he looked at himself in the mirror. What he brings out in his painting of himself or the portraits is the inner self or an extension of the inner self. So this is a person who was at once a poet, a philosopher, a guide, a humanist, a social reformer. This is the Serbian translation of the selected works of Tagore. And these, when you go through these works, his prose, his plays, his novels, you will find there is a distinct bias in favor of women. Tagore was brought up in a joint family, and he was surrounded by women. His great-grandmother, his grandmother, his mother, his mother's sisters, his own sisters, his sister-in-laws, and he was greatly affected by the position of women in society, by the role of women in the family. And in his own small way or in his own big way, Tagore has been able to portray womanhood. He has been able to portray and speak a lot for the emancipation of women and for the liberation of women. And the author here goes on to say that his poems, his prose writings, his plays, his songs, his ruminations and paintings, these touched the life of India as no other writer, thinker or artist has done. And he molded the language and thoughts of the Bengali-speaking people everywhere. Even today, more than 70 years after his death and more than 150 years after his birth, he still has a presence on our cultural scene that has to be reckoned with.
To vreme Indija i oblast Savjetna država Bengal su bili deo britanske kolonije.